Then lastly, we can go to the next one. They make very good kitchenware and for hotels. And they even differentiate so that we don't mix fish and others have different boards. The last one is that one. It's called from bananas and maize. These ones employ about 2,000 people. 1,900 people.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Yes. So the next one
Thank you very much.
a young lady called Judy. She does honey from Maringo.
How are you? I'm a consumer of this.
Are you a farmer or
No, I'm not a farmer. I take this honey. So how do you process this?
Basically, we are beekeepers, and the process of packing, we just do the normal sieving, and then we pack differently, like in different packages. Our honey is originally from Baringo, and it's organic. We don't process it like heating it. It's just through the natural process so that it remains organic.
So you don't have the segregation? You're telling me?
We don't, we don't have it. Yes, and
no additives?
No additives, no. This is just organic, natural. Then we have this special one from, it's called kusumiat in our language. It's the stingless bee honey. Kusumiat in our language. Yeah, it's the stingless bee honey.
What is that? You see these small, tiny, I don't know what you call them insects. They look like flies. They always
get to the ears, yeah?
Yeah, they get to the ears. They make this.
So it's not
It's
from a bee?
No, it's not from a bee. It's from those small insects.
Tiny insects.
And they are. This is also used. They can act as a, what do you call this?
They are very good for respiratory.
Respiratory, yes.
And
Coughing and all this.
And they get
It's a syrup.
Because if you look at it, it's actually like caffeine, right?
Yeah, it's like caffeine. Even the taste.
Yeah.
Even the taste is like caffeine.
beauty,
Well done.
The beauty of this is that its immunity level is 10 times the normal honey in the market, yes.
Okay.
And it's recommended especially
You've done the research?
Yes, I've done the research. Yes.
So you process down,
Then I just bring
and
here.
then you bring them packed and processed.
I value add from here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You have this in the supermarkets?
Not yet. But we're going to set up small shops also here.
Well done. Congratulations. Congratulations.
So that is the CS for SMEs and cooperatives who's walking through the different exhibition stalls just to get a sample of what's happening at the SME Conference and Expo 2023, which is at the KICC. It's a 3-day event that began yesterday and will be going on until tomorrow. And so we've got various farms that have set up their exhibition stalls here, which we're going to sample. And so he's coming to the next one, which is Steamer Circle.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes. Welcome to Steamer Circle.
Nimesikia kuna steamer leo asubuhi. Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes.
Tell us what's your role in the SME sector?
Basically, our role is to provide financial services to support business by providing SME loans, biashara loans to members, like asset finance. For example, we are providing capital financing for biashara people. We are also providing housing facilities, financing to members, especially in the business sector, ensuring that they have housing, affordable housing. Yeah, we also provide loans. You join as a biashara member. After 6 months, you are eligible for a facility up to 3 times or 4 times your savings in the circle. And we are offering at a very affordable interest rate of 1% per month for the normal loans.
It's not yet single digit. Times 12 is 12%.
Yeah, but for the affordable housing, we are giving it at 9.5% per annum.
Okay.
Yes.
You have to be an employee of Steamer or KPLC?
No, the circle is open to all Kenyans. So we have biashara members, we have corporates, groups, chamas, and salaried members who can join us and become members and qualify from the products that we offer.
So how many in your portfolio? How would you say this is the percentage of SMEs or biashara, loanees or borrowers?
Currently, biashara members are about 40% of our membership. Yeah, so they also contribute.
That also show how many the percentage of beneficiaries of your facilities. That's good. That's good. That's good. So mkipunguza interest kidogo and we expand, we will be there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So the last question, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce.
The CS is now going to be shown the stall by the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is among the key sponsors or supporters of this expo.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, yes.
How are you?
I'm good. Yes.
So tell us what you are doing here.
This is the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Kenya National Chamber of Commerce was started in 1963. Our mandate is to advocate for the conducive environment for business to here in Kenya, and we also do. We are diverse. We are in all the 47 counties, and we also work. We are internationally affiliated with over 177 countries outside Kenya. What we do, our mandate is to basically advocate for conducive environment for business to flourish.
Thank you so much, CS, and also Chamber President and CEO for Nation Media Group and other dignitaries. As you have been told by our executive, Sarah Mudhoni, as Chamber, what is very important is that we are a strategic partner in this. This is the 4th edition. We started this 3 years ago under the leadership of Mr. Richard Ngatia, and we really want to work with all of you. You remember, CS, we celebrate one of our key recommendations last year, the 3rd edition, through his leadership, was to establishment of the specific ministries, and we celebrate that. Count on our unconditional support. We want to support the SME growth. We are coming up with a lot of initiatives, including capacity building projects, which will scale up the SMEs growth in 47 counties. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We want to invite you to this year's Madaraka Day.
Thank you.
We have, the theme is on SME and trade and cooperative.
Thank you.
So I spoke to your president, and I believe we'll form a big partnership.
Thank you.
That's the one name who is coordinating the county.
Thank you.
Yes. How are you, Chairman?
So the CS has gone through various stalls here at the KICC where he has been shown and just getting a sample of what is being showcased here at the KICC at the SME Conference and Expo. He's here at what's called the Masai Corner.
Okay, I make it from the recycled paper. Yeah, this is paper. And then I add value. These are pearls. So when I do it from the scratch, I manufacture from the bead, from the paper, then to this bead.
Where do you do it?
I do it at home.
At home?
Yes.
So how do you convert the paper?
Okay. It's part of the innovate. I'm an innovator actually. So when I get a calendar, any calendar, as long as it's glossy, then I cut it. Then after cutting it, I roll it. After rolling it, I dip it in a clear varnish. The varnish will harden the paper and make it clear and waterproof. Yeah.
And this will last for like how long?
It's a long-term thing. Yeah. It does not have any...
Thank you. Well done.
Yes. Handmade.
Where do you make it from?
From Kayole.
Yeah.
Yes.
From home?
Yeah, it's a cottage industry.
Cottage industry. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, we have a loom that is called hardwood.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, in fact, this is one of the things that you must adapt.
Yes.
Cottage industries everywhere. Yeah, and that is what China did.
It can be made in their houses so that the value add is in the farmers, in the villages.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chairman, so welcome to the Micro and Small Enterprise Authority State Corporation. Our role is actually promotion, development, and regulation of the sector. We have infrastructural programs in all the counties, where now we are working on value addition. We have MSCs here who we have sampled from within, whom we are supporting in terms of value addition. Currently, we are actually changing our CIDC model of infrastructure to provide what we call one product, one county model, whereby we are actually picking out the value chain which is most prominent within a county and actually propelling it so that each county will be able to identify one value chain of a product and be able to propel that. So we have here two MSCs whom we have picked, who we have sampled from Nairobi, who have various products. That's a very interesting product. This one is a gaming, I think, should be able to.
If you dismantle this, you are told to put it back together.
It will take. It will take you a few minutes, actually.
Unless these are used for kids. For kids.
Yes,
really, yes. Okay.
ECD. CBC.
Yes. It's a way of educating them and finding and also building their skills. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Well done.
This is a group called Shalom. They are based in Umoja. It's a women group. It's an enterprise. We have registered them. What they do is they make these baskets, and they also train a number of women to make these baskets. Apart from that, they also have gotten a market outside the country, and they actually export these products outside. But there are challenges there, which we hope to actually solve in terms of exporting the products outside the country.
It's made of which material? Sisal.
This one is made of sisal. The raw materials are sourced in Kisumu, and they are brought here to Moja. Then from there, they are able to make these products. Yeah, so you're welcome.
And also, don't forget the government stage project, the Hustler Fund.
Thank you.
All right, so the CS is still getting an experience of what is at the KICC, where we have various organizations, both SMEs and supporting providers such as financiers and the likes. And so he's gotten a sense of what is happening here at the KICC grounds, and we shall be getting into the main tent where we shall be having the formal event on this second day of the SME Conference and Expo 2023, which is happening until tomorrow. This is from yesterday, that was Wednesday, the 15th of March, all the way to Thursday, or Friday, I should say, Friday, which is tomorrow. And so it's a 3-day event which shall be happening here. And so we will now be getting into the formal part of our event. We're having our formal part of the event, which is going to be happening now. So I'd like to welcome everybody. If we may have our seats kindly. We may kindly have our seats. And I will request that we put down the music on the sound team. I'll request that we put down the music, the sound team. Thank you very much. And it is a great day, especially considering that we have experienced rain, which we have been praying and hoping for as a country, especially in this tough time of the drought. And so at least in Nairobi it has rained, and we believe that in various parts of the country it may have rained, and we shall be confirming this, and definitely shall be expecting updates on the same from the different Nation Media Group platforms. Once again, good morning and welcome to this second day of the SMEs Conference and Expo 2023, which is happening at the KICC, the Kenyatta International Convention Center, and it is a very wholesome and kind of insightful platform. We invite everyone who's not made their way here, who may be watching us right now as we are live on NTV, to come and join us here at the KICC. This event ends tomorrow, so you can come and interact with the different SMEs, the different service providers who are within the ecosystem of the SMEs, just to see what value can be added. And so without much ado, I would like to now get into the speeches, but first I would like to invite us all to stand up so that we can have the national anthem. Okay, I will just lead it. We'll sing it in Swahili, the first stanza. E Mungu nguvu yetu, ilete baraka kwetu, haki iwe ngao na mlinzi, na tukae kwa undugu, amani na uhuru, raha tupate na ustawi. Thank you very much. You may have your seats. And I'm not sure how many of us remember the last time we sang the national anthem. Some of us were probably afraid we may not remember all the words. We should probably have a challenge, Bwana CS, where we'll ask people to recite the loyalty pledge, which was last recited by many people years ago. So without much ado, I would now like to call to the podium the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya National Federation of Juakali Associations, that is Mr. Richard Muteti, to give his brief comments. Bwana Muteti.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Moderator. Waziri, the President of the Chamber, the Chairman of the Micro and Small Enterprises Authority, we are happy to see you today, and the CEO of the National Media. My name is Richard Muteti. I'm the CEO of the Juakali Sector Federation in Kenya and the Juakali Sector Federation in the East Africa community. I'm very happy, Waziri, that among the crowd here, we have senior elected officials of the Juakali sector clusters. I'm seeing the Secretary General of Kamukunji Juakali Association, the biggest cluster in East and Central Africa. Please wave. Asanteni sana. Today, as you have heard, it's not our day. Today we have a chief guest, but I would just like to bring a small issue to our notice so that we appreciate where we are. Waziri, this is an SME conference that we thank the nation media for having recognized and seen it fit to involve the people from the bottom of the pyramid to be exposed and showcase their products. So in this value chain, Waziri, of SMEs, the Juakali sector or the informal sector is at the bottom of the pyramid of the SMEs. So you can never go as lower bottom than the Juakali sector. So the Juakali sector is the bottom. And I'll just finish by, because of your time, I'll just finish by giving some figures, Waziri. Waziri, in 2021, the public sector employed 923,000 workers or employees. The private sector, the people who pay NSSF, pay as you earn, and so on, all of them aggregated were 1.9 million. The MSMEs, majority of who are in the informal economic sector, employed 15 million, Waziri. And this figure does not involve the agro. When we involve the agro, where we have the fishermen and the crop farmers and the fish folks, 4.5, it brings to a total of 20 million. The MSME sector, majority of who are in the informal sector, are 20 million people. So you are, Waziri, chief guest, I would like to mention here that one of our requests, because you are here, one of our requests is that we need to build frameworks around government institutions so that we can have concerted and guided interventions to the MSE sector. I want to single out MSEA. You are, Bwana Waziri, out of 275 government institutions, the only ones that we have interacted with them and they seem to understand us That's 20 million people. There are only two, and you'll excuse me to mention them. It is MSEA, who we're interacting with them in the villages and in the homes. And the next one is KIE. We have just been speaking. If you go around this country, KIE clusters are full. They are overflowing with MSMEs. A lot of innovations. Waziri, you have seen a shoe there. I think that shoe was being worn, it could only be worn by Adam. Is the one who was, alikuwa na hiyo mguu. So lastly, this theme that is innovation and technology, Waziri, we would like to have, as we said, sorry? Yeah, Waziri, we would like to recommend to the government to have a structured relationship and collaboration with the informal sector. And we would like to request that the heads of parastatals that have anything to do with MSMEs, we would like to induct them. We would like to have a meeting with them in Kamukunji. Let us start in Kamukunji coming up. Bottom up means them understanding how we are operating and how we are structured. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Bwana Muteti, for your comments and for your remarks. I would now like to invite to the stage to make his comments the President of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, that is Bwana Richard Ngatia.
Thank you very much. And once again, let me welcome you to the second day of this conference. Your Excellency, the Cabinet Secretary, and my very good friend, thank you very much for gracing this occasion today. And I believe with you coming here, we now have the confidence that you're going to steer and champion this roadmap to make sure that SMEs are supported. CS, you have been able to witness today, after the short tour that we have had here this morning, you have seen actually the micro, all the medium SMEs are actually very, very creative, very innovative. But there is a challenge that we need to mitigate. We need to collaborate, the private sector and the government, to actually make sure we support this sector. The innovation and creativity cannot go to waste. What we must do is to make sure that they have markets, they have opportunities to emerging markets, and they are actually funded in terms of financial inclusion. Those are the things that could be hindering their growth in terms of businesses. Cabinet Secretary, yesterday we had a conversation here between the captains of industry. We had panelists who are here. We had speakers who are here before us, and there's certain information actually came out from them. And we picked out some of the areas that we believe you must be able to be notified so that immediately you can be able to find a way. The solutions that were provided by the panelists and by the speakers are here, and I want to actually propose to you as recommendations from the private sector, particularly the micro. The first one is that there is need to implement policies that promote local production and reduce imports. Number two, upgrade and equip the existing common manufacturing facilities to modern working spaces for local manufacturers to improve their technical expertise. Number three, there is need to ensure that there is access to affordable quality bulk raw materials for quality consistency. The fourth recommendation, there is need to increase support for SMEs through targeted programs and policies. And this can only include providing access to finance, developing policies that support innovation and creativity, and increasing access to markets both locally and internationally. CS, the fifth one, the fifth recommendation is to simplification of regulatory processes and reduce cost of doing business. This will definitely help to reduce the cost and time required to comply with regulations, which can be a significant barrier to entry for many
SMEs. The cost of doing business can be reduced by reducing energy costs, improving transport infrastructure as well. And the sixth recommendation, more local content or products on supermarket chains and local shelves to promote local production and innovation. And finally, to promote and strengthen public-private partnerships, joint ventures, and support development initiatives. You can imagine, today we've just had here that this location, they need a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills, and it is said that with those with knowledge but without skills, it's like a ship on dry land. You have the ship, you have the land, but it cannot move. And so if we actually capacity build them, then we're going to the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bwana Ngatia, and we will be moving fairly fast because our chief guest, that is the CS of Cooperatives and MSMEs, Honorable Simon Chelugui, he needs to be leaving soon, so at this point I'll invite the Nation Media Group CEO, Stephen Kitagama, to come and make his remarks and invite the chief guest.
So thank you very much. I think this is indeed a great honor to us that on the second day, our patron and our minister, Bwana CS Simon Chelugui, has had time to actually not only attend this meeting, but also visit a number of our booths and a number of our exhibitors. Waziri, thank you very much, and Karibu. The SME sector these are your people, and I think you are the best placed person to talk to them, and we are very proud and happy with the government because of the setting up this ministry. For a long period, cooperatives have been ignored, the SME sector has been ignored, but this time we have the ministry and we have a sector that manages and looks after this sector. Now, at NMG, we are also very much committed to ensuring that the SME sector grows, that the SME players get an opportunity to interact at this forum. They also get an opportunity to network, an opportunity to meet the policymakers and showcase their products. So we will continue with this. This is the fourth exhibition that we are doing. We started in 2020, and the numbers have been growing. When we started, we had 90 exhibitors. Last year, which was the third year, we had 150 with 15,000 participants. This will continue, and we also are exploring the possibility of doing county exhibitions. Now, Waziri, the key thing that when we interact with the SME sector that they keep asking us to tell you is we want an enabling environment. We have the capacity they have the capacity to do the job. They can do anything that you want them to do, and we saw that during COVID. But they want an enabling environment, good policies, good tax legislation, and they will deliver for you anything that your government would want. So in the interest of time, I have the responsibility and the humble privilege of inviting Waziri, and I will request you to stand up and clap for him so that he can talk to us. Thank you. Asante sana.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take your seats. The CEO of the Nation Media Group, Mr. Kitagama, the President of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Ngatia, the Chair of MCEA, and also the CEO of Juakali Association, various agencies in the room, the Kenya Industrial Estates Chair and CEO and Management, and all the agencies, senior management team from the Nation Media Group, and all the exhibitors. Good morning. Amjambo. Asante sana. I think Mr. Gitagama and the President of Kenya National Chambers, I'm privileged and excited to be here this morning to join this team which really speaks to the mandate that I have as a CS, cooperative and MSME. The micro and small enterprise, SME sector in our country. Kenya writes on MSME. And as per statistics given by Mr. Muteti, and already given by the other statisticians, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, KIPRA, Central Bank, and all other credible agencies have all pointed that our life, our future, is in promotion of micro, small, and medium enterprises. So I've gone round the booths and I've interacted with some of them, and I'm amazed by the creativity and innovation from the real bottom. Some are operating from their homes. Some of these innovations, the best technology in the world, Google, Microsoft, and many others. These are technologies, or rather innovations, that have succeeded and conquered the world. They all began, some of them from classrooms, from libraries, from students' hostels, and now some are beginning from their home. So I'm happy that we are beginning that journey as a country. And with the establishment of this ministry, standalone ministry, we will be there to support the micro and small enterprises. And this is the journey. And even further, I have news for you. This year's Madaraka Day, which will be celebrated in Embu, formerly Eastern Province, will be themed on micro, small, and medium enterprises and trade and cooperatives, just to give this sector the impetus and the national profile that it deserves. So I'm inviting all of you. Nation Media, National Chamber of Commerce, and the exhibitors. We have enough space. It will be a whole week of exhibition and promotion. There will be talk shows. There will be tents like this to engage. Banks are coming. Almost all of the banks are coming, those involved in SME. We have international visitors who have proven in supporting MSMEs. We've invited them. And even that day will be preceded by International Investment Week, which will be graced by about 7 head of states here in Nairobi. So it's going to be a big week. It's going to be a big celebration of our Madaraka Day. In 1963, we attained our self-rule, Madaraka. That time, we were fighting to remove and we were fighting to govern and lead ourselves, and removing the leadership of the colonialists. Today, in 2023, the real freedom that we yearn, we desire, is economic freedom. Freedom, fighting poverty and other challenges, the economic freedom. There is no better way of attaining economic freedom if we don't promote small, micro, and medium enterprises. And this is the true reason why we will be celebrating our self-rule on the 1st of June this year in Embu. So having said that, it is no doubt then that MSME account for the vast majority of enterprises worldwide, making them significant contributors to job generation. A recent National Economic Survey report by Central Bank of Kenya indicates that MSMEs constitute 98% of all businesses in Kenya and creates 30% of the jobs annually, as well as contribute 3% of our GDP. So a sector that constitutes 98% of our businesses is a sector that we cannot ignore. The media cannot ignore, banks cannot ignore, government cannot ignore. We have all to line ourselves up and support this sector, because That is the life of Kenya. Additionally, the sector creates employment of over 15 million people with a value output of 3.3 trillion shillings, making it a high priority segment in the realization of government's agenda for bottom-up economic transformation. The SME, given its significance as a source of employment, hurdles of accessing funding becomes obstacles to poverty reduction and economic progress. They are faced with two key financing obstacles: accessibility and affordability. Many of our MSMEs do not have bank accounts, so they cannot access financial services. And secondly is the cost of borrowing. Majority of these SMEs do not have security, they don't have credit collateral, and they become perfect candidates for Shylocks. And in the process, whatever business they are doing, whatever profit they are making, is all eaten up by this unregulated interest by Shylocks. So the government of Kenya launched the Hustler Fund as a flagship program of the government manifesto that will go a long way in promoting financial inclusion for millions of Kenyans who would otherwise have been excluded from the mainstream financial system. The fund was created to empower the people at the bottom of the pyramid, free low-income citizens from the bondage of loan sharks, and provide them with the financial security they deserve. The fund, which is dispersed digitally, will have 4 key products, namely personal loan product, which we have successfully launched. We launched that product on 30th of November, and as we speak today, we've been able to lend out 22 billion shillings, 228 million, 164,369. And this has gone to 19 million Kenyans through a platform. So I think in future, the way to go is working working and partnering with the hustlers. 19 million Kenyans onboarded within 3 months. And we've been able to free from Credit Reference Bureau 7 million Kenyans who are listed. They have now undergone financial rehabilitation, and they are now being mainstreamed back into the financial system. This is one of the achievements and one of the stories that we tell our hustlers. We've been able to circulate 22 billion shillings in the economy is also a milestone in addressing the needs of the hustlers. The fact that we are using credit score as opposed to collateral and securities is also a new development in how we release and deliver money in our country. We will move away from security, and we want in the long run to mobilize financial institutions to move away from security and collateral-based, which is not there in the first place across and among the hustlers. So we are pioneering this initiative as government. I know many financial institutions may not take the risk, including my own agencies in my own ministry are still collateral-based. But we want to drive an initiative and prove to the financiers that it is possible to fund an idea, an innovative idea, and create value and make money and still remain secure in terms as far as funding is concerned. The fund, which will be dispersed digitally also, is we're going to launch the micro product, which is dealing with cooperatives, collectives, and chamas and groups, SME loans, and startups, all which will provide affordable credit at a single-digit interest rates. 2 products have so far been rolled out, and I believe we will also be engaging other affirmative funds through the same platform, the Women Fund, the Youth Fund, WESO Fund, and even KIE, who are seated here, we will be inviting them also to participate, because it's proven that this is an easy and flexible and more effective way of reaching those at the bottom of the pyramid. When we empower Kenyans through these 500 shillings, is engaged on micro business, generating a profit of 300, 400, 500, that Kenyan can now fund his medical insurance. Out of that profit of 300, we can take away 17 shillings to fund and finance his household medical bill. And in the end, that fellow, that hustler, will walk into any hospital like you and me who are salaried, get medical treatment and walk away. Mambo ya mchango itaisha siku hiyo. We can also, the same empowered Kenyan can participate in economic development, can participate in social housing, affordable social housing, because the social housing and affordable low-cost housing require between 6, 8, 10,000. This empowered Kenyan who makes 300 a day, 500 shillings a day, can save, aggregate that saving, and afford a house in Nairobi, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, under the housing program. The same empowered Kenyan can also save little 50 shillings, 100 shillings, 200 shillings per day, and buy an education premium for his children when they get to school. So you may look at the 500 shillings today as small money, but in the end, you have empowered a whole hustler to participate and mainstream him in the national development of our country. The micro enterprise loan product, which was launched by His Excellency the President last year, will target the micro business both at individual level and group or collective level, which will be channeled mainly through the digital platform and circles. And that product of SME, which we launched in this ground, will have a limit of between 10,000 shillings and 200,000 shillings at an interest rate of 7%. There are 359 SACCOs regulated by SASRA. Under the sector lending, data from SASRA indicates an average of 12% of the 670 billion be loaned by SACCOs to SMEs, while another 17% is to agribusiness. This underscores the potential held in financing MSMEs with the right policy support. In order to enhance credit access to MSMEs who had been excluded through blacklisting by CRBs, the Hustler Fund has been remodeled around financial grade in credit scoring. This ensures gradual growth of credit access to all access level as opposed to complete closeout of the financial inclusion product. And our objective here is, when we begin to replace security with financial grade and credit score, we are telling you, for example, anyone, any SME who comes to Nation Media Group to distribute their newspapers, in future you will not be asking for a bank guarantee. You will be asking for a financial grade. And if it is good enough, you should be able to give him credit to distribute your newspapers. If you are a wholesaler and a retailer comes to your wholesale, has little money and wants to distribute your goods, bread, merchandise, you will be asking for a financial grade, not security or a bank guarantee, because the Hustler Fund will be able to give them financial statement rising from 500 shillings and scaling up their limit. We've just recently doubled their limit, and in the process begin to create another set of SMEs, another set of Kenyans who can be graduated and taken to the mainstream financial institutions. So so the other agencies, Kenya Industrial Estates, which provides affordable medium and long-term finance of between 10,000 to 14 million to MSMEs for the purchase of machinery, equipment, and working capital, either for startups, expansion and modernization, or rehabilitation, focusing on priority areas. And we have, as a ministry and as a government, come up with priority value chains. One of them is the promotion of MSME, and the others include dairy sector, the coffee sector, bilateral sector, cotton and rice, edible oil, fisheries are some of the priority value chains that we are aligning all our finances to focus, because they generate enough jobs for Kenyans and also help to reduce food insecurity. WESO Fund, the Women Fund, and many other funds that fall under my ministry and other ministries are also being reorganized to follow that route. So additionally, the Youth Enterprise Fund, which provides affordable credit to the youth-led businesses in order to mainstream their participation in economic development. And in order to increase employment, enhancing opportunities for targeted youth, the ministry through MSEA has been implementing the Kenya Youth Employment Opportunities Program, KEOP, which provides targeted youth with startup grants to start and grow their business. So despite the government multi-pronged interventions to foster financial inclusion through strong partnership with financial institutions, traditional bank credit products are still out of reach for many MSMEs due to perceived high-risk profile. This perceived risk locks out hundreds of thousands of MSMEs who, across the stages of their life cycle, require access to appropriate sources of financing for their survival and growth. Additionally, most of them are informal, meaning they are not formally registered as businesses, and this makes it difficult for them to access financing. Alternative lenders such as Shylocks, digital lenders, mobile lenders offer collateral-free loans, making them attractive to borrowers looking for quick cash and who often are locked out by banks due to prerequisites such as account history and collateral. While these credit products are easily accessible, it has led to borrowing from multiple apps, resulting in debt distress and the reduction of credit scores. This has affected the borrower's ability to obtain credit from banks in future. Such products charge rates as high as 10% per day, thereby adversely affecting the liquidity of the borrowers. One approach of solving the obstacles of accessibility and affordability of credit is blended finance, leveraging on private sector and development partners. The capital markets, through full range of instruments, including debt and equity, have the opportunity to offer alternative MSMEs with a high-risk profile seeking flexible form and conditions beyond traditional bank finance. The alternative finance models the capital markets can explore for perceived high-risk MSME include business angel investments, the crowdfunding platforms, venture capital, as well as public equity. So I would like to challenge the MSMEs to explore such alternative financing options There is also need to enhance MSME capacity building, not only on financial literacy, but also capital markets in order to mainstream their participation. So as a government, and as I had told you earlier, we began the financial inclusion initiative, and we have tested the ground. We have hit the ground. We are shocked by the performance of this idea, by the number of Kenyans who have been onboarded and the amount of money, the turnaround. At one stage, at the peak of this idea, we were having over 235,000 transactions per second. That is the kind of turnover we were handling. Recently, we onboarded the Women Enterprise Fund on this platform. And we were onboarding 4,500 women groups, or 4,500 women per second, per minute, immediately after the launch of their onboarding program. It means, therefore, that many Kenyans have been excluded because of access. And this is something we are trying to address. Once these two products have been launched and entrenched in the market, we are coming up with a startup fund, or the startup loan bill, which is now undergoing stakeholder consultation. And as soon as that is done, we'll be able to take it through the normal process, cabinet and parliament. Once it is enacted as a bill, then we will be able to bring on board these angel investors, venture capitalists, and government support, so that ideas like the ones we have seen can have a home for financing and support, for scalability, and also connection into the market. I want to thank the chair, MSEA, and the MSEA Authority for championing and promoting the interest of MSME. I've been with them outside the country, in the region, in Uganda, in DRC recently, and thank you, the president of the chamber, for also facilitating and contributing towards promotion of MSME. So once all these funds have been aligned and organized well, I am inviting all the Kenyan MSME to actively participate, to engage, and even visit some of the agencies like KIE, so that instead of now looking at our businesses as micro, we can graduate them from micro to small to medium, and eventually become the nice and lovely, which began as a micro, a one-man business, to a scale that can be bought by an international firm. Like Mastermind. How many of you knew Mastermind was incubated in KIE? A one-man enterprise. Today is competing with multinationals. Hako Industries, a firm that was incubated at KIE as an SME, like the ones we have seen, today was also bought by a South African or by a multinational company. So what we are saying, it is possible. What we are doing today is to show you, or to give confidence to all those small enterprises who are still operating from their homes, that it is possible. Mastermind started as a one-man business, today is a multinational. Nice and lovely in Hako industry. It is also possible that through the same mentorship, incubation, and acceleration, you could easily be the next multinational. So as a country, as a government, that is the focus we have. So in conclusion, finally, there is need to promote policies that support access to financing instruments for MSMEs, as well as create risk sharing, risk mitigation strategies for high-risk MSMEs, seeking financing. I look forward to a partnership between ourselves, the ministry, and the Nation Media Group, and all the stakeholders, the small and micro, the Juakali sector, the National Chamber of Commerce, and all the players and stakeholders in this space, so that as a country, we can begin to chart the direction we want to take our MSMEs. And I know Kenyans, they are creative, they are knowledgeable, they are aggressive, their attitude, their hard work, they are hardworking, and they are entrepreneurial in their upbringing. So I have no doubt that given the right environment and support, we will move our SME to another level. So I look forward to a rich and insightful discussion during this forum on enhancing financial inclusivity of MSMEs, and by exploring practical and sustainable solutions to the challenge that inhibit their participation. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Bwana CS, for that, and a lot of interesting numbers and nuggets of information that have been shared there. And just reminding you that we are still having the conversations online, so you could share your views, your thoughts on the same. Our hashtag is Powering SMEs. Powering SMEs. We are pushing that, so share your insights, take photos if you're here, and share with the same hashtag. And our chief guest, if you may allow us, will just allow 2 quick questions, because you know you're in a hurry, and we would like to honor that. So we will just have 2 questions from the good people on the floor, which can then be addressed. Then we can allow our chief guest to take his leave, and we shall also bring this part of the program to a close. So if we have the microphone, I will ask one microphone to be brought to here to the front. We'll have 2 questions from here, and those of us who also have questions, you'll just kindly pardon us, just in the interest of time. And so I will ask Patrick Mudaiga from Taltech International, he's a CEO, to just quickly ask your question. And I also request that we make it very brief, because we don't have much time to do the same.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll go straight to the point. First of all, thank you very much, Chief Guest, to be able to be this and having a discussion for all of us in regards to the MSME. My question goes straight to the digital space. We are a company where we are a tech-enabled organization, which enables to tell good stories in terms of various businesses across. When we look at the compatibility in terms of our Kenyan space to enable the MSME to be able to reach into the global space by having their products visible, we are looking at how can we have a one-stop platform and have a compatibility platform which will enable them to get information in terms of a learning management system that is integrated to that. They're able to sell their product accordingly in Kenya, in East Africa, and across the globe. My query in terms of what we do and what we need to have as a discussion today, our chief guest, CS, is the enablement in the tech industry. The average age is at 19.5 to 20 years. Kenya produces software developers in terms of the various space, financial space, the media space. There are over, in terms of the statistics, I'm just getting the right context here. It is said that Kenya will be able to be the next producers of software engineers at large. How can we have that compatibility to help the MSME to be able to have their products well classified in that space, and also create employment for those software developers to be able to support these platforms? If the discussion here is to partner with media companies like Nation to be able to propel that good story, to have that MSME to concentrate on their co-production, and let the MSME who are also doing the software development part of it to enable them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll now invite Maureen Amakabane, who from the Nyayo Moms Sokos.
Thanks, Waziri. All protocol observed. So I think my question, so my name is Maureen, and I'm from Nyayo Moms Sokos Limited, and I stand here as a product of alternative financing. So my first grant came from an African philanthropist called the Tony Elmeli Foundation, and I think there's a good avenue for partnership because every year he does invest in 1,000 entrepreneurs. And I was just doing the quick mathematics. As it stands, in Kenya today, he's invested a total of $3,420,000 in form of grant to entrepreneurs. That was as of 2021. I don't have the data for 2022. But my specific question to the ongoing discussion is, what is the role of, how are you factoring in gender lens investment in terms of so that women are not left behind? And then if women would love to participate in this task force, how do we plug in? Like, I would love to plug into this conversation. And my next question is, I'm curious to know if we are having discussions with Kenyan philanthropists to come in and join the conversation, because I think we do have wealthy individuals who've been benefiting from this economy. So just from the philanthropic perspective, do you have a collaborative approach?
Thank you very much. I'll invite you, Bona CS, to just address those.
Thank you very much. The questions from the first tech young man, the government, in the way the government has been formed and established, we now have a standalone Ministry of ICT and Innovation that is focusing on promotion of such enterprises. The Konza City, which is our Silicon Valley, is now housing and inviting international tech organization so that we can create partnership. We can have mentors within the country. And beyond that, through these financing initiatives that we are doing, some of them are going to focus on the startups. We are now working on finalizing the bill, which has issues of angel investment, venture capitalists, and those capitalists come with also partners who can hold your hand, the small, creative, innovative Kenyans, and scale them up to national, regional, and even international standards. I want to believe we are known as a country for the pioneering various ICT products across the region. We've done very well as far as mobile money is concerned. We are a pioneer. We are challenging established organizations. And I want to believe we are equally good on many other creative ICT products. So to push this agenda, it requires collaborative engagements. You've seen where we are going as a country. We have registered all our farmers. We have 5 million farmers. The future of our country is in ICT. So those creative young men would need to think ahead so that in future we will not deliver fertilizer through stores. They will be delivered directly to the farmer. The same thing with seedlings. And also we have seen platforms that aggregate, promote e-commerce, and all manner of activities. There is one creative platform that I visited it's called Tweaker Foods in Tatu City. They have created a platform that brings into the system 140,000 suppliers, and 20,000 suppliers and 140,000 consumers. So you've actually taken up Marikiti, Kongowea, and all these markets, put them in one platform, and you don't have to build a warehouse because you produce your crop or farm produce, put it in that platform, and it is bought by somebody in another part of the country. So we've created efficiency in the market. So what I'm trying to say is that ICT is the future. What we want you to do is engage us, engage government for funding, for support in building the partnership with other big corporates who keep on engaging government. This year's Madaraka Day, we will want to bring some of the leading tech companies in the world, Microsoft and Google, to come to our countries to identify opportunities like this one and create a partnership between Kenyan small upcoming IT companies and the world and these big corporates of the world. We are also looking forward, and I want to thank the Nation Media Group and the National Chamber of Commerce. We are working on a partnership to identify our key priority areas, and so that as Ngatia is moving across, engaging other chambers or other businesses, we have a clear priority focus. So it's not just general marketing of the country, but we have specific targets for our country. ICT is one of them, and we can really move forward our country by digitalizing our services. I was being told that the e-citizen is now collecting over 100 million shillings per day, which was really unheard of, by just digitalizing services. One thing it has achieved, you can get your birth certificate, you can do your wedding online, you can book your wedding online, you don't have to look for any, even pastors now, we want them to be digital so that these things are finished on our digital platform. So we don't have to struggle. We cannot all come to Nairobi for a basic service. If you met in Kericho, marry in Kericho, you don't have to travel all the way to Nairobi. So digital transformation of our country is going to really change. Land issues, earth disaster. So ICT is the way to go. Look at the performance of the Hustler Fund. 22 billion shillings in 3 months. And do you know how much we were given? We have only been given 10 billion. But because of the turnaround, 236,000 transactions per second, we've been able to save 1 billion from the same hustlers who are saving 50 shillings. Some of them even don't know they have saved, but we have their records. We've saved their money unknowingly. We will be shocking them with the amount of money they have saved in 1 year's time. At this rate, in 2 years, these hustlers will have saved more than what NSSF has done in 60 years. The question from Maureen, and I want to congratulate you for pioneering such initiative on alternative financing. Majority of Kenyans still think that for you to move forward, either you have a rich father and mother or access to a bank, you cannot move. But we have other options, the alternative financing. Let's explore those options. So women, other than through the Hustler Fund, 47 of those being supported are women. 53 are men. But you know, we still have some stereotypes around women. Some communities still deny their women to borrow and even to take credit. But because you have your mobile phone, who will stop you from applying for this hustler? And it's free. You don't need your husband's permission, your father's permission, or your son's permission. You pick your phone, *254#, and there you go. You get to the menu and you get the money. So women, you are free. You are free to utilize this government initiative, but more so, we have an affirmative fund, the Women Fund. Again, through this Hustler platform, you are able to access, and we have invested more money. I've seen the Women Fund has now increased last week was given additional funding of 500 million. So as we continue investing and availing financial resources, I am challenging the Kenyan women to participate actively in utilizing some of these resources that government is giving. Finally, on philanthropists, we have rich Kenyans. We normally read them in newspapers and studies on high net worth Kenyans with billions of shillings. And they are approaching 85, 95 years. They have made money, they have made merry in Kenya. It is time for them to also invest in the future of this country. So we are appealing and asking anybody, we will create a forum. We will create a forum where we can speak to these lucky Kenyans who have made money, of course, rightfully, to support the future of our country, the young, creative, tech, and entrepreneurial Kenyans, so that we create a better country than we found. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Bwana CS, and we hope that those philanthropists with billions will come forward and support a lot of these businesses and many others across the country, some of which are going to be showcased during the Madaraka Day season. And that's the close of